Donald Trump has infuriated the Republican establishment. It's just a fact. The Republicans have had a huge problem with Latino voters in the last two presidential elections. One of the reasons President Obama won two big electoral college victories, taken states like Nevada and New Mexico, moved them from battleground into blue states. The state of Florida, pretty critical to winning the presidency, a lot of Latino votes there. We could go on and name 6 or 8 other states where the Latino vote matters. Donald Trump has made the establishment furious by talking about his announcement speech, they send us rapists, they send us drug dealers. He was on with CNN's Don Lemon last night, and he's not backing down. Listen.
Don, all you have to do is go to Fusion and pick up the stories on rape, and it's unbelievable when you look at what's going on. So all I'm doing is telling the truth.
I read the Washington Post, I read the Fusion, I read the Huffington Post, and that's about women being raped. It's not about criminals coming across the border or entering the country.
Well, somebody's doing the raping, Don. I mean, you know, somebody's doing the. You're saying it's women being raped. Well, who's doing the raping?
Some people laugh about this. Some people roll their eyes. Most people who do politics for a living think this is going to flame out in some fabulous way. But you spent a lot of time covering the Bush campaign. Donald Trump is now second in the national polls, second in New Hampshire, and second in Iowa. Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, and Scott Walker are going down in those polls as Trump goes up. He is having an impact on the race. Yes, it's only July, but it matters, especially in such a crowded field where a lot of credible candidates are going to disappear like that if they can't win in the early states. What is the conversation inside the campaigns about whether to take him on or step back and just hope this flames?
I think it's more that. There's concern about becoming the guy that ends up in some kind of a boxing match with him. We saw a little of this yesterday with George Pataki, the former New York governor, who's now trying to get everyone else to sign on to these pledges to denounce him. And what does Trump do? He does what he did to Macy's, NBC, and Univision, suddenly disparages their character and suggests that they're not worth the paper they're printed on. And they don't want that to happen because he's clearly drawing hardcore conservative support right now from Republicans who, again, I think are being a little cathartic and trying to just have a moment with this guy and have him move on. But the damage is done. Anyone who suggests that he has the potential or risks ruining the party's image, it has been ruined. Watch the Spanish language television. Read the Spanish language newspapers. This is dominating the conversation. The damage has been done. And if you're a Republican candidate who wants to be the nominee and win, you should be very worried about this and trying to do something about it.
He's gone from 3% in our national poll in May, Paul, to 12% now into second place. Again, the trend is clear. You don't like the message, but if you do campaign strategy for a living, if you were advising the other candidates, do you just hope for a flame-out, or do you try to see the opportunity and be the guy be David who takes on, I don't want to call him Goliath because that gives him stature, but be the guy who takes him on?
I think they need to take him on. I would be advising them, especially Jeb Bush. My goodness, he's married to a woman, Columbo, a wonderful woman who happened to be born in Mexico. His children are Mexican Americans. He could do that, and he loves his family. Okay, I may not agree with Jeb Bush on issues.
But does he exacerbate his problem with the Republican base by sounding like he's, he says this anyway. He wants legal status for the undocumented. He says there's no way to round him up and throw him out. Let's deal with reality. Right. But does he hurt himself with his own chances in a place like Iowa, in a place like South Carolina, if he takes on Trump on immigration?
But if he doesn't, he can't ever be president anyway. Ed is right. It's dramatic, the damage that's being done, which is why there's populism on the right, just like there is in my party. The difference is in the Democratic Party right now, it's not ugly, it's not hateful, it's joyful. And so even as a Hillary guy, I think it's great for Bernie to draw 10,000. On the right, Mr. Trump at least, I think Ed's right. He's doing enormous damage to the voters they need the most.